אוקיי, אנחנו נמשיך עם פרשת תולדות. פרשת תולדות כתוב שמה בבראשית כ"ה-ו'. We're going to continue in Parshat Toldos in Genesis 25:6. ולבני הפלגשים אשר לאברהם נתן אברהם מתנות וישלחם מעל יצחק בנו בעודנו חי קדמה אל ארץ קדם. It says, and to the sons, kids of the concubines that Avram had, Avram gave presents and sent them away from Yitzchak, his son, while he was alive, Kedma, to the land of Kedem. And Rashi says the concubines is missing. It says it in a way that shows that it was only one concubine, and that's Hagar, which is Keturah. And it says that Avram gave presents, and our sages said that he gave them the names of unpurified. Now, what does that mean? It says in the book Maskil LeDavid, on Genesis 25. It says, ידוע שהראשים של גילולי מצרים היו שמם יוחני וממרא, כנראה מדברי רז"ל, אמרו לי יוחני וממרא למשה תבן אתה מכניס לו אפרים. והשתה הינו דקמר רבי טרפון ביוסף אברהם, ויקח אישה שמה יוחני, כלומר שזו הגר שחזרה לגילולי בית אביה, שראש הגילולים היה יוחני, ואז הם יקשו לו, היכי מצית לממר, הכי היא בה, קטורה כתיב. כלומר, שנעים מעשה הקטורת, קרי עליהו בני קטורה, שככה היו דרכם שרוצים לומר על אותם שלא היו יודעים ההלכה, היו אומרים כך בני קטורה מלשון קשירות, כלומר, שליבם מטומטם אל האבים. What does that mean? It says that he gave him like essence of tumah, impurity. It says the heads of the Gilule Mitzrayim, the heads of the people that were following idol worship in Mitzrayim were names Yochani and Mamre. According to the sages, it says Leah, Yochani, Mamre, Moshe Tevin, the suffering. Rashata, what does that mean? As Rabbi Tarfon, that Abraham took a woman, her name is Yochani, and in essence, that's Hagar that came back to be following idol worship. And the head of the idol worship was Yochani. And what does that mean? That her actions were like good as Keturah's? Is it? So her sons were the children of Keturah. It says that they wanted to say, like in a hinted way, that her sons, or the people of Keturah, did not know halacha. The Bnei Keturah, that their heart was unable to understand deeply. What does that mean? What does that mean? It says that Rabbi Tarfon exchanged Keturah with Yochani and called those that didn't want to, use halacha, the sons of Keturah, as it says in Gemara Menachot Pei. Yochani and Mamre were two Chaltumei Mitzrayim. There were two high ministers, main essence of Mitzrayim, that tried to show Moshe Rabbeinu, that they know to do what Hashem does. As we see in the Zohar, they were the sons of Bilam. They were the heads of the Erev Rav that came out of Egypt and did the egel, the calf, the golden calf in the desert. And because Hagar is a Keturah and her sons got from Avram the ability of witchcraft, she went back to her home base of idol worship in Egypt. And it says that Yochani was the head witchcraft in Egypt, and he is the sons of Keturah that received this ability to use witchcraft. As it says in Genesis 25:1, Vayosef Avram Vayikach Isha Ushma Keturah V'teled lo et Zimran, et Yikshan, et Medan, et Midian, et Yishbak, et Shuach. We see that the kids that she gave birth to, Midian was the son of Abraham and Keturah, and it's possible that Bil'am was the son of Midian from the side of his mother. This is why Yochani and Mamre are also the sons of Bil'am and the sons of Keturah. So we find in the Midrash, in Yalkut Shmot Rala, 2 witches were in Egypt, Yochani and Mamre. It says, Shneim Chashvim ayu b'Mitzrayim, Yochani Mamre, v'asu lahen כנפיים מקשפים ופרחו באוויר ונתלו ברומו של עולם. אמר גבריאל, ברוב גאונך תהרוס כמך, ומיד אמר, קדוש ברוך הוא למיכאל, לך ועשה בהם דין. תפסן מיכאל בציצית ראשן וקעקען על פני הים, הדא הוא דכתיב, אתה פוררת בעוזך הים ושיברת ראשי תנינים על המים. It says that there were 2 witch people, guys, in Mitzrayim, Yochani and Mamre, and they created themselves some wings in witchcraft and flew in the air and were hanging above the world. It says the Gavriel, who was one of the angels, Berov Gencha Taros Kamecha. They were trying to figure out what to do with them. And Hashem, God said to Michael, the angel, go and do judgment with them. So Michael caught them by their heads and sort of like, pushed them above the water and broke them apart, I guess, like their heads were broken on the water, like sort of like taninim. Big lizards, as they call them. It says Yochani Mamre in Gematria is Shin Samech He. Shin Samech He is 365, which is the 365 types that were in the Ketoret, and they were in the secret of Bnei Keturah, the sons of Keturah. In the Ketoret, there is a connection between Kedusha and Klipa, holiness and the cover, the peel. And it creates the Klipa to Kedusha by the Ketoret. And the sons of Keturah did witchcraft and deny the essence of holiness of Hashem. They do the opposite by bringing Kedusha, holiness, to Klipa. So Yochani Mamre were taking, or basically sort of like Yanku, like they were getting their knowledge from Avram, but they got the witchcraft from him. And they were the heads of the Erev Rav. They were taking basically the good to evil, or mixing good and evil. We find in Rashi in Genesis 25:1 that Keturah is Hagar, and she's called Keturah because her actions were good as Ketoret, in that she basically didn't have any relations to anybody until from the day that she separated from Avraham. So it says that Yochani and Mamre is the same name of Mamre that was with Avram and gave him the advice about the circumcision, about Milah, and that was merited that Hashem was discovered to Avram in Alon and Mamre to give him the instruction about circumcision. Now, it's because the Brit Milah is a sort of a Ketoret incense, and it says that it was transpired to the sons of Keturah, they found that Mamre, they were like getting their energy and the force from the Arla, from the covering of the circumcision of Amila. And Yochani, with the letters and the Mila in Gematria of Alone, in a different way. Yochani and Mamre in Gematria comes to Alone Mamre. Also, Aner Eshkol and Mamre, the Gematria is Keturah. So everything is connected together, but not in the right way, in sorts. It says in Midrash that Avram was connected to 4 kings, Nizdavku, like were sort of like in relations of 4 kings. Even to Israel in the future, all the kings are going to be excited upon them. As it says, Lama Rakshu Goyim Ulumim Yegurik, which means that they're going to be all excited about Israel in the future. And Omer, Itiatzbu Malcha Eretz Beroznim Nostu Yachad al Shem Be'al Meshicho. So in front of them, or across from them, or against them, actually, there'd be kings and heads of state together against Hashem and his Mashiach. What is Avram, going out with Hashem and fights the enemies? It says, Mi hi'ir mi mizrach tzedek yikra'ela lo yitel lefanav goyim u'mlachim yer yiten ke'afar charbok kash nidav kashto. Which means that who is going to wake up from the east? Justice is going to be called to his feet. Upon his feet, we're going to have all the non-Jews, goyim, and kings. All of them will be set as like afar, like earth, and his sword will be like straw hitting them with it. So in the future, it says that Hashem is going to do to his sons, V'yatsa Hashem v'nilcham b'goyim hahem kayom hilachmo b'yom krav, which means that Hashem will fight the non-Jews the same way he fights like a war, as is in Midrash. Rabbi Pinchas says that the people that were following Avraham Avinu were killed, as it says, Ki ata asher hikita radaf, mi hi'ir mizrach tzedek yikra lo eraglo. Mi hu zeh she'ir libam shel mizrachim she'avo v'yiplu b'yad Avram. Who is this that woke up the hearts of the Easterners that will come and will be taken by Avraham? Tzedek yikra lo eraglo. So justice they'll be justly fallen by his feet. Chai Elomim she'aya me'ir lo b'chol makom she'aya holech, amar Rabbi Birkiah mazal tzedek haya me'ir lo. So the Hashem is like lighting his way everywhere he's going. As said Rabbi Birkiah, justice is lighting his way. We see the Avram war in the kings was lit against the Gog and Magog war, which is parallel to the war of Abraham Avinu within this kings of the east. They're suckling from witchcraft that Avram Avinu gave that knowledge to the concubine sons, and they're connected with the klipot, with the covers, the bad covers, you could say, the shell covers of Yochani and Mamre, that are klipot of the Erev. They're suckling from Alone Mamre, which is that connection to the circumcision. So according to that, we can explain the hints that we heard that Russia in Gematria is Mamre, and also in Gematria Erva, which is the klipa of the bris, the circumcision. And Ukraina, in Gematria is Alone Mamre, is also coming from the word keri, which is shows when you damage the circumcision or the bris. And it says, Vayar elav Hashem ba'alonim. And if you look in Gematria, it comes to Ukraina. Now, all the words that are seen Hashem in Alonai Mamre, Gematria, Ukraina, Russia, Ukraina, Russia. And in the Parsha Vayera, in Gematria is 217, which is the year Tafshin Pei Gimel, which is this year, from the end of the 1000, because the idea of a war, Milchemet Gog uMagog, is from the root of the war that Avram had in this particular klipa as coverage. As we see, the Russians got an agreement with China and North Korea that are the kings of the East that will come to war in the war of Gog uMagog. Also mentions North Korea that is in the east of the world and is hinted in this particular pasukim, Mi hi'ir mimizrach tzedek yikao leraglo yiten lefanav goyim u'melech yeret. Okay. Who woke up from the east? Justice will be called to his feet. In front of him, many goyim and kings will go down. Yikraehu, the word yikraehu is the same letters as Korea. Tzedek, justice, is tzedek, tzefon, de Rom, Korea. The initials are tzedek. Heir in Gematria is Russia, with the words from all of it that has come from. So in the continuation, Ra'u iyim v'yir'u katzot ha'aretz yichradu, it's Rashi Tevot, Korea. Ra'u iyim v'yir'u katzot ha'aretz yichradu gives you the name Korea. And kayadua shemakom ze nikra chatzi ha'im. As it says, it's a half an island. And it says in the Midrash that שהמזרח הזה הוא גם צפון, that the east is also north, which hints on Russia, that is basically located at the north of the world, and also on Tzfon Korea, which is in the north of east part of Asia. As it says in the Midrash, Mi hi'ir mimizrach tzedek yikra legaraglo. Who woke up from the east, justice will be called upon his feet. Why is it coming from the east? Where the day that comes Mashiach from the sons and sons of King David, that is representing as the sun. וכיסאו כשמש נגדי. כמה שאמר עליו הכתוב שנאור כשהוא כאילו ישן, that he's waking up like he's asleep. אף הקדוש ברוך הוא, it says that Hashem is waking him up because it's the end. As it says, האירותי מצפון ויעט ממזרח שמש יקרא בשמי. למה הוא בא מן הצפון? Why is he coming from the north? Because Israel were exiled to the north, and their honor was exiled with them, as it says, Ha'iroti mitzafon. It says in the name of Rabbi Nachman Breslov in Siach Sarfei Kodesh 630, that Rabbeinu says Torah 19, Inyan Hashiv'im Lashon Uchlalut Avotem Shita Avat Hanuf, that in the 70 general ta'avot, like desires, that is ta'avat hani'uf, like having relations. Amar achar kach al malchut Russia, I said later on the kingship of Russia, be'etzem lashon Russia munach kvar pgam habrit. In the name Russia, you have already the pgam of the bris. You know, something is damaged in the bris, the circumcision. In Lishon Russia liget gam habrit. We see that the klipa of Russia is from the root of Allah on the bris. And on muvasham, באחרית הימים, לא יוותר מממלכת רוסיה אדירה כי אם גבעה ועליה עץ. It says at the end of time, there won't be left from the Russian Empire, the giant Russian Empire, but one hill and one tree. It says Weizmann says there's going to be only a holy spark from which Alone Mamre is going to be sucking from. Alone is meramez al ha'etz, Mamre meramez al giv'a rama. So at the end of times, there only will be a little hill and a tree. It says Mamre is Rashi Tevot, or Rashi of Gematria of Amalek, which is a hint to Russia that is in Gematria Mamre, which is from the root of Amalek, or from the source of Amalek. As it says in the book of V'ha'ish Moshe, from Gaon Rabbi Moshe Soloveitchik, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, that Sheharusim Rubam Amalekim, that the Russians are mainly Amalek. As it says in the book Siach Yaakov of the Admor Rabbi Yaakov Mehosiatin, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, that the Russians are Amalek. See, and as Amalek threw away their Orla of Israel and fought the mitzvah of Mila and circumcision, also in Russia, they have made the decree not to do bris milah, as we know. And as we explained, that they are the klipa that covers the mamre, that's the root of the circumcision mitzvah. So Russia has the letters of Samech Resh, Yud Hey, okay, Russia, as it says on Amalek, Yad al Kes Hashem, and they nilchamim bekisei hakavod, they fight the chair, the honor chair of Hashem. As we wrote from the Zohar, that Mamre is the secret of the chair, and Mamre is Rashi Tevot, Mitgarim Milchama Russia Ukraina, that they are fighting between a war between Russia and Ukraine. It says the Mamre is Rashi Tevot, is the shortcut of Medinat Russia, Medinat Ukraina. If you see, it comes to Russia, or Mamre. North Korea of today was founded and got its independence the same year that the state of Israel did, 1948. Their flag, very similar to the flag of Israel. And as we said, the Korea is the sons of Keturah, and the sons of Keturah are the heads of the Erev Rav. There's no, we're not going to be surprised that they have a connection with the state of Erev Rav, with the number 1948. Yeah, there's one more part. Avraham Avinu was born in 1948 to the creation of the world. And then it says also in Rashi, Becharan, the nun is upside, to tell you that until Avram, without the hey, Charon af shel makom. We see that this place is a very, very bad place, or bad times. And we see that until Avram was born, they had 1948 years of Charon af, that is Haran, hinted by the letter Nun that is upside down. And the map of Korea, if we look at it, looks like a Nun that is upside down. And Korea is hinted about a division to two, like in the Sea of Reed that was cut. And there Yochani and Mamre were killed by the Midrash. It says, Hashem הפך את האותיות סדום ועמורה, אדמה וצבויים להוליד משיח שהיה שם. Hashem transpired the words Sodom and Gomorrah, Adama utzbuim, earth and itself, to give upon birth to Mashiach that was there. It says in Dvarim, Deuteronomy 29:22, גפרית ומלח שרפה כל ארצה, לא תזרע ולא תצמיח, ולא יעלה בה כל עשב כמהפכת סדום ועמורה, אדמה וצבועים אשר הפך אדוני באפו ובחמתו. גפרית ומלח, it's like sulfur and salt, burnt all its country, not to be seeded, not to grow, not to have anything grow there. As the Sodom transpiration and Adama utzvuim asher hafach Hashem be'apo u'bechamato. This is what Hashem did when he was angry with them. It says that Hashem not only, put upside down Sodom and Gomorrah, the land there, as simple as we read, but also has put upside down the letters that would create Mashiach that was there. So Hashem took the letters Sodom to the letters Sod Mem. Sod Mem symbolizes Malchut Bet David, kingship of King David. It says that Harahag, Rabbi Yosef Blue, that Tzaddik Gadol, that said that Hashem turned the letters Amora from Sodom and Gomorrah, or Amora, to Leotiot Me'ara. Me'ara, same letters. Me'ara is a cave, to bring about Mashiach from Lot and his daughters in the Me'ara, which we know that that's how that basically transpired, that this there they basically brought about the ancestors of King David from basically Ruth. And Hashem transpired the words Adama laotiyot ha'adam, and it says that symbolizes the essence of Mashiach in secret. Adam David Mashiach. Adam David Mashiach is Rashi Tevot, is give you the acronym of Adam. Also says that Hashem flipped the letters of Tzvoim to the letters of Beitzim, eggs, which symbolizes kingship. It also was told by Harag, Rabbi Avram Agashi Shalita, that Sodom and Gomorrah, Adamat Tzvoim, Begimatria is Torah. So it's a hint that from that we merited to have Mashiach that teaches a new Torah to Israel. It says that they asu milchama et Ber melech Sodom and Birsha melech Amora, Shin'av melech Adama, u'Shme'ever melech Tzvoim. It says that they did war, and it's in Genesis 14:2. They did a war against Bera, the king of Sodom, Birsha melech Amora, and Shin'av melech Adma, and Shme'ever, king of Tzvoim. And Rashi says Bera is Ra l'Shamayim. It's bad or evil to Shamayim, okay, to God basically, or Shamayim, and bad to Briot, bad to humans or creatures. Birsha shenit'ale b'risho, so it was very, very wicked. Shin'av sonei aviv shebashamayim. hates his father in the sky, in heaven. Sheme'ever, some ever la'uf likfot limrod ba'akba. That basically wants, aspires to fly, jump, and revolt against Hashem. And we see that Sheme'ever Melech Tzvaim, the king of Tzvaim, puts or creates some sort of a way to fly, jump, and revolt against Hashem. He's like sort of a flying creature, and comes, brings eggs from Tzvaim. Shinav, that hates his father, becomes the Lot's daughters that bring about Moab. Moab, we know the name is from a father, and Birsha changed in his galut to Ravsha Ba'olam Asodin Barshaim, which means that Birsha in reality becomes Hashem. Bera Hafach Rova, the Yichud that brought about kingship. And it says Bashach in Vayikra 24:17, Vehinifet Omer, Amora. In that night, Sodom and Gomorrah was turned about. You see, Amora is the Omer. The Malachim were at Abraham on the day of the 15th of Nisan. The next day, so it's the 16th of Nisan, is the day of that you bring about the Omer. Came the angels to Lot, and there was the changing or the destruction of Sodom, which means that the Amora became the Omer. Hashem brought about Amora in the secret of Snufat HaOmer, is like what they do during Pesach. It says that during the days after that, the days of the Sfirat HaOmer, the counting of the Omer, was the action of Lot with his daughter in the cave, as it says in Genesis 19:30. Vaya Lot mitzoar, וישב בהר ושתי בנותיו עמו, כי ירא לשבת בצוהר, וישב במראה הוא ושתי בנותיו. So he sits in the cave with his two daughters. It says from Rahag Eliyahu Stern, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, that the Omer Yirmaz b'melech Kedalar Omer, that took Lot, and it's also the root for Mashiach in being in captivity. Avram went to war against him to save Lot on the eve of Passover, as said in Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer, came back in the war after Passover during the counting of the Omer, when they already ate bread, as it says in Genesis 14:17. ויצא מלך סדום לקראתו אחרי שובו מהכות את כלו בעומר, וגו ומלכי צדק מלך שלם הוציא לחם ויין. King of Sodom came towards him after coming back from hitting Kedar LaOmer in war, and Malki Tzedek, Melech Shalem, king of Shalem, brought about, bread and wine. Rashbi sweetened the judgment of the Omer days and says that thanks to those days, we married the Mashiach that comes from Lot, studied in the Me'ara, in the cave, as we know, the secrets of Torah. So Rashbi did also a process in the cave, as it says in the book Machmadei Eretz, the Me'ara is initials of Moshe Akiva Rashbi Ha'ari, that through them we have all the secrets of the world through the reincarnations, and in the Me'ara, in the cave, it's also Rashi Tevot, its initials. So Moshe Rabbeinu alav hashalom. And also, initials Me'ara is Mem Ayin Reish Hey, is the word neshama, soul. Me'ara neshama. That hints on Nishmat Torah, the soul of the Torah, and the secret of the cave. When you do Atbach, Sod Nimshal, and the letters after Sod Kabbalah is Zivug Me'ara. As in Lot, we got the essence of Torah through the Zivug B'Me'ara, through this, relations that were in the cave. And also in Rashbi, the secrets of the Torah was through a couple that studied in the Me'ara, in the cave. Rashbi and Rabbi Eliezer, his son, studied in the Me'ara, in the cave, and got wisdom in the Me'ara, in the cave, as it's hinted in Mishlei 8:12. Ani chochma shachanti orma. I'm wisdom that was in sort of like treachery or trickery, as it's in the song, Bar Yochai, in the song, B'me'arot tzuim she'amata sham kanita l'decha ve'alecha. Ro'im sheb'zchut ha'me'ara zachar Rashbi l'sodot ha'Torah. We see that thanks to the secrets of the cave, Rashbi merited the secrets of the Torah. The same thing is in the issue of Boaz and Ruth. It was the continuation of what happened between Lot and his daughters in order to bring about the birth of Mashiach. And that was during the Sfirat Omer, as it's written in Galgal HaChaim by Rabbi Yosef HaKohen Shalita, as it says in Ruth 3:7. ויבוא לשכב בקצה הערימה, אותיות המערה הוא העומר. Again, everything here hints towards the words of me'ara, which is the cave, and omer, which is what they brought. chen me'ara hu העומר, ראשי תיבות הכתוב, as it says in Yeshayahu 52:7, מנבו על הערים רגלי מבשר, משמיע שלום מבשר טוב, משמיע ישועה, אומר לציון מלאך אלוהיך, וכן רשב"י נרמז ברגלי המבשר. So there's hinting to Rashbi, there's hinting again to this words me'ara, cave, and omer. It says in the Sefer of Birei Agadot Afikeyam that the name of the Korah, the me'ara, or cave, symbolizes the essence of a female. Me'ara, from the words erva, also parts of the women's body. And it says in the book Nehorah de Yosef, Hamayan ve'hacharuv, the little fountain of water and the carob tree that were created for Rashbi in the cave were in the chasadim, the essence of gvura and chesed of the upper worlds. Ma'ayan, a fountain, is in chesed, and charuv in gematria is gvura. Charuv, carob, is also coming to take away the vav, is coming from the root of cherev, sword, as a design of a sword, and a charuv is a sort of a food that is difficult for the body, like a sword. And it shows the difficulty that there is for the midah of gvura. And the mitzvah of the omer fixes the chesed and gvura for 7 weeks, as we know. And it says in Aruch HaShulchan, the Rashbi came out in Hamara, he came out of the cave on Lag BaOmer, okay, the third day of the Omer. And it says that day there was a Gilui HaMe'ara, so there was the discovery of the cave, and the coming out of the secrets from the female side outside to the world. And it was added by Rahag that Hashem brought food to Elijah that, kept him for 40 days, that he didn't eat until he got to the cave in Har Horeb that was similar to Moses, that he climbed up to Har Horeb and didn't eat for 40 days. Same way Rashbi in the Me'orah, in the cave, was fed by miracle. Hashem brought up to him a etz chalvanim, carob tree. It says that the Baruch HaVaya Borach L'Olam V'ed B'Gimatria Tashpag. It says that the prayer Baruch Hashem blessed forever in Gematria is Tashpag. And the second letter of all these words comes Shepo, Shin Pei Vav, that on it depends the future redemption. As it says in the Midrash, Amar Rabbi Akiva, B'chol yom v'yom malach echad omed be'emtza rakea patach. In every day, as Rabbi Akiva said, there's one angel that stands in the middle of the sky, opens and says, Hashem is the king and all his army above, says afterwards, until he comes to bless him, because it comes to bless one sort of like called animal. His name is Israel, and on its forehead says Amili. Stands in the middle of the sky and says, Baruch Hu Hashem HaBarach V'chol, and all the ministers above say Baruch Hu Baruch L'Olam V'ed, until they don't finish they are excited and shivering. Fanim, which is the creatures in other world, shaking the whole world and says Baruch L'Olam, and that particular animal is standing in the middle of the sky until everybody's shaking above, and all the armies are all standing and saying to this animal, Shema Yisrael. And this is all in a book called Kehilat Yaakov. And as we said, there's one animal that has in the middle of her forehead, it says Israel. It says Baruch Hashem Baruch Kol Demala Onimacha Baruch Hashem. And in the future, it says that the name of it is going to be called Mashiach, Israel, and it's going to wake up Mashiach, and Mashiach is going to blow the trumpet, and all the dead people are going to wake up. And Matat, Yamar Baruch Hashem, which is what Matat is one of the angels, and all the people and the people above will say Baruch Shem HaBarach L'Olam V'ed. It says in Sefer HaKavanot, in the intention, the old intention book of Arizal, in the word Baruch, it gives another spirit of Shabbat, and it also has 5 tevot, 5 little squares against the Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chaya, and Yechidah. And we see in this word, Baruch Hashem, Baruch L'Olam V'ed, is the addition of the Neshama of Shabbos. This is the secret of Yemot HaMashiach, days of Mashiach and Geula, redemption, that we are expecting it. And we are aiming in the Siddur of Rosh Hashanah, in the word Mevorach, is to sweeten and soften the dinim in the 42 parts in the process to make it sweeten. And the same way, like we say Baruch Hu before we do Arvi, beginning we want to put the name of Hashem, and after, quadrupling is Yud, Yud, Hey, Vav, Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey. that comes to be 130 as the number of Baruch. And then in the word Nevoach, you aim at Hashem in 3 pictures that come up from 42, and then Dai, Dav, Vav. And after that, we have 60 times A, Gematria Raka, Tasir Shem Nishar Raka Havim Barach. In another, it was mentioned that is shortcut of Baruch Hashem HaMvarach L'Olam Va'ed, Otam Rashi Tevot Shel HaPasuk V'Nishgav Hashem Levavel B'Yom. Okay, so we have a very important part here. It's a final part that is written by the Gdolei Torah. Is how is it possible that we have all the indication that Ben David, the Mashiach, is coming, and it's still not all the kolelim and all the schools are having it compulsory to study a few minutes a day in the Zohar to save the nation of Israel? How is it possible that Dam Yisrael, the blood of Israel, is flowing like water, and they're not trying to get the advice that our sages suggest to save Israel, even if the whole generation's chayav is like obligated to bring Geula in mercy? If we're waiting, God forbid, to more blood and rivers of blood, we need to wake up. Why aren't we trying at least to show Hashem that we want to take the advice that is written in the Torah Be'al Peh by our sages, to start with understanding or studying the whatever is open to us in the Zohar? Where are all the people, the Easterners, like the Sephardi people, that their sages and their great parents that dealt with this chokhmah, this wisdom? And thanks to that, they were able to prevent Hitler, Yimach Shmo, that wasn't able to get into their states. Why didn't they now have that study in all the Kollel, in the Zohar, and in all the other books that deal with the inwards of the Torah? How is it possible that many thousands of Torah learnings are in a very bad shape in Parnasa and their income, and that's becoming worse and worse? Chas v'shalom. And still we didn't do cheshbon nefesh, a calculation why we have this tzara, this problem. What is Hashem wanting and demanding from us? We didn't do takana in the order of learning Zohar in public, as was promised to us by our sages, that will give us shelter and being full and parnasa in plenitude, even in difficult times. How are we ignoring the Shekhinah call to its sons and babies that were taken away? Tinokot shenishbu, they are in grave issue of danger, and we're able to save them. Are we going to say that our hand did not spill this blood, as the Zohar said in Parshat Naso? V'gin de'atidin Yisrael lemit'am ilana v'chai di'ihu hai sefer hazor kun bahi migalut barachman. Rabbi Yaakov Tzemach Zecher Tzadik Livracha, בהקדמה לספרו קול ברמה, על האידרא רבא, רחל מבכה על בניה שאינם עוסקים בחופה הזאת הממהרת את הקץ, ולזה אין משיח בא. Rachel is crying upon her sons that are not dealing with this chokhmah, this wisdom that can hasten the end. And this is why Mashiach is not coming. כי אין מדרש קבוע בכל עיר ועיר כמו שיש בעסק התלמוד, ואכן אין בניה מושרים ומערים את מה המשיח. This is why we don't have Mashiach, and because there's no learning that's fixed in every city and city as we have in Talmud. And that's why we don't have, speeding of Mashiach coming. Baal Hagovi al Eitz Chaim, in the book Efash Lema on Mitzvot Chaim, העניים וההרוגים בזמן הגלות תובעים בבית דין של מעלה את תלמידי החכמים שלא למדו קבלה ומענישים אותם על כך. The poor people and the murdered during the galus, during time of our being away, are demanding in the beit din and the court of above all the chachamim, the talmidei chachamim that didn't study Kabbalah, and are punishing them on that. Rabbeinu Ha'or Chaim HaKadosh in Vayikra 25:25 says, Ki yamuch achicha v'go, Parsha zot yamos inyan gadol. What does that mean? It's hinting to Yoshvet Teva, the world people, שהתחתונים מתים מדרכתו מסתלקין השפעות, that when we stray away from the goodness and מסתכן עמוד הקדושה כעיקר תלוי בהתחתונים, מאחר בחוזרתו יוצא על המשכן ומשכן העבוד אשר במרותינו נמכר הבית ביד עולמו. Hints here, the selling of the house by the nations. והודיע כתוב כי גדולתו היא ביד הצדיק אשר יהיה קרוב לעיני, ויגאל למכר אחיו וזה יגאל לעיני יחו. It says that our redemption will be by a tzaddik that will be close to Hashem, and he will bring the redemption to our brothers. יגאל השם עמכו, על זה עתידין לתן את הדין כל בני הארץ גדולי ישראל, ומהם יבקש השם עלבון הבית העלו. It says, on this particular issue, there will be a judgment of all the big people that are in control of Israel. And from them, Hashem will ask Elbon, like to be, just sort of a judgment from them because of what happened. Maskanat Dvarim, Kol Rosh Kolel, Magid Shiur, everybody who is heading a kolel, who's telling a class, anybody who has influence on many, it's very important that we'll make an effort to learn the Zohar for a few minutes to save Am Yisrael from the simple belief in the sage's solution that this would bring us Geula. And it's better learning in public with understanding instead of just learning by themselves. But he should learn as much as he can, even by himself. Matzinu b'midrash. It says in the midrash in Yalkut Shmuel 106. Shimon bar Manasseh en Yisrael roim sivan gula asher chzor ve'kshu shlostam. Shimon bar Manasseh says that Israel doesn't see Geula redemption until they come and request all three. As it says, Achai yishvu b'nei Yisrael v'kshu Adonai Elohim. So Malchut Shamayim, and David Malkam, so Malchut Bet David, Malchut El Adonai Ve'el Tova, so Bet HaMikdash. So Malchut Shamayim, Malchut Bet David, Malchut Bet HaMikdash. Now, the important part of this, I just want to say that this is from the secret of the Chashmal. Chashmal means sort of like in our days, explanation is electricity, but it's sort of like a use of a word of something that exists in the other world. It hints to the secrets of the Zohar and Torah. So basically, I will try, B'neder, to explain these secrets of each parsha, but this is the end. So we need to ask the three things: Malchut Shamayim, Malchut David, and Bet HaMikdash. Yom Tov, Shavua Tov, Shabbat Shalom.